Brooke Shabbat Yom, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans to the west, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. This Shabbat lesson we're going to title it, His Kadesh Temple, His Holy Temple. Right, brothers and sisters? In Hebrew studies, the temple in heaven refers to a concept where the earthly temple in Jerusalem is seen as a symbolic representation of a heavenly sanctuary considered the true dwelling place of Eliyahu, where divine activities and judgment occur, essentially depicting heaven itself as a temple-like space where Eliyahu resides and interacts with creation. This idea is often found in biblical texts, particularly in the imaginary of the tabernacle and the most holy place. Key points about the temple in heaven. Symbolic interpretation. The earthly temple is understood as a model or reflection of heavenly one, with its design and ritual mirroring the heavenly reality. Right? Divine presence. The heavenly temple is where Eliyahu is most fully present and assembled, serving as the ultimate place of holiness. Biblical reference. While not explicitly stated everywhere, concepts related to the heavenly temple can be found in various passages throughout the Hebrew Bible, particularly in the book of Ezekiel, which describes detailed vision of a heavenly sanctuary. The heavenly sanctuary temple motif in the Hebrew Bible functions, and it has been found that the heavenly sanctuary temple functioned as a place of divine activities where Yahuwah, Yod-Havia, supervises the cosmos performed acts of judgment. Right? So let's look at Ezekiel. Okay, brothers, so to look at the screen, we're going to take it from Ezekiel 40. Now, in this chapter, brothers, it's going to describe the heavenly temple and the measurement thereof. You understand the imagery? You see, brothers and sisters? So, let's go forward. Right? It's on your screen. Ezekiel 40. In the 5 and 20th year of your captivity, 25 years, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that, the city was smitten. In the selfsame day, the hand of Yahuwah was upon me and brought me thither. In the visions of Eliyahu brought he me into the land of Israel, and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the south. And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like appearance of brass. So that man is Yahusha Mashiach, brothers and sisters. with a line of flax in his hand and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. Right, so take a look on the screen, see an image of a brass. As you can see, the image of fine brass. You know what color represent on earth, right, brothers and sisters? Alright, so let's move forward. Verse 4. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold, with thine eyes and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall shew thee, for to the intent that I might shew them unto thee art thou brought thither. Declare all that thou see to the house of Israel, Yashrael. Verse 5. And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits, long by the cubit, and a handbreadth. So he measured the breadth of the building 1 reed, and the height 1 reed. Right? So what is a reed in biblical meaning of reed, brothers and sisters? So a reed is a measuring tool used to measure long distance, such as temples, cities, and altar. The word for reed in Hebrew is kane. Kane. You see, brothers, if you take a look at the screen, you see an image of a reed. You know what I mean? Kane. That's where you get what's the word? Ruler, measuring ruler, and measuring tape from Israel, our culture. You understand? Reed, that's where they get the measuring tapes and measuring rulers from, right? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Verse 6. Then came he unto the gate which looked towards the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad, and the other threshold of the gate, which was 1 reed broad. And after a little chamber, and every little chamber was 1 reed long and 1 reed broad. And between the little chambers were 5 cubits, and the threshold of the gate by the porch of the gate within was 1 reed. He measured also the porch of the gate within 1 reed. Then measured he the porch of the gate 8 cubits, and the post thereof 2 cubits. The porch of the gate was inward. Right? So again, what is a cubit, brothers and sisters? A cubit is a unit of measurement that is the distance from the elbow to the fingertip, the middle finger. Right? So again, what is a cubit? A cubit is a unit of measurement that is the distance from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. It was the primary unit of linear measurement in the Bible. You see, brothers and sisters, right? So we had verse 10. And the little chambers of the gate eastward were 3 on this side and 3 on that side. They were of 1 measure. And the posts had 1 measure on this side and on that side. And he measured the breadth of the entry of the gate 10 cubits, and the length of the gate 13 cubits. The space also before the little chambers was 1 cubit on this side, and the space was 1 cubit on that side. And the little chambers were 6 cubits on this side, and 6 cubits on that side. Verse 13. He measured then the gate from the roof of 1 little chambers to the roof of another. The breadth was 25 cubits, door against door. He made also posts of 80 cubits, even unto the posts of the court round about the gate. And from the face of the gate of the entrance unto the face of the porch of the inner gate were 50 cubits. And there were narrow windows to the little chambers and to their posts within the gate round about, and likewise on the arches and windows were round about inward, and upon each post were palm trees. Then brought he me into the outward court, and lo, there were chambers and pavement made for the court round about. 30 chambers were upon the pavement, and the pavement by the side of the gates over against the length of the gates was the lower pavement. Then he measured the breadth from the forefront of the lower gate unto the forefront of the inner court without 100 cubits eastward and northward. And the gate of the inward court that looked towards the north, he measured the length thereof and the breadth thereof, and the little chambers thereof were 3 on this side and 3 on that side, and the posts thereof and the arches thereof were after the measures of the first gate. The length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And their windows and their arches and their palm trees were after the measure of the gate that looked towards the east, and they went up unto it by 7 steps, and the arches thereof were before them. And the gate of the inner court was over against the gate towards the north and towards the east, and he measured from gate to gate 100 cubits. Verse 24, after he brought me towards the south, and behold, the gate towards the south, and he measured the posts thereof and the arches thereof according to these measures, and there were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about, like those windows, the length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And there were 7 steps to go up to it, and the arches thereof were before them, and it had palm trees, one on this side and another on that side upon the post thereof. In the inner court there was a gate in the inner court towards the south, and he measured from gate to gate towards the south 100 cubits, and he brought me to the inner court by the south gate, and he measured the south gate according to these measures. And the little chambers, verse 29, and the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, according to these measures, and these were windows in it, and in the arches thereof round about it was 50 cubits long, and 5 and 20 cubits broad. And the arches round about were 5 and 20 cubits long, and 5 cubits broad. And the arches thereof were towards the outer court, and palm trees were upon the posts thereof, and the going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me into the inner court towards the east, and he measured the gate according to these measures. And the little chambers thereof, and the posts thereof, and the arches thereof were according to these measures, and there were windows wherein, and in the arches thereof round about it was 50 cubits long, and the 5 and 20 cubits broad. 34. And the arch thereof were towards the outward court, and palm trees were upon the posts thereof, on this side and on that side, and the going up to it had 8 steps. And he brought me to the north gate, and measured it according to these measures. The little chambers thereof, the posts thereof, and the arches thereof, and the windows to it round about, the length was 50 cubits, and the breadth 5 and 20 cubits. And the posts thereof were towards the outer court, and palm tree were upon the posts thereof, and this side and on that side, and going up to it, and had 8 steps. 38. And the chambers and the entries thereof were by the posts of the gates, where they wash and the burnt offering. And in the porch of the gate were 2 tables on this side, and 2 tables on that side, to slay thereon the burnt offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering. Verse 40, and at the side without, as one going up to the entry of the north gate, were 2 tables, and one on the other side, which was at the porch of the gate, were 2 tables. 4 tables were on this side, and the 4 tables on that side by the sides of the gate. 8 tables were upon they slew their sacrifices. 42. On the 4 tables were of hewn stone for the burnt offering, a cubit and a half long, and a cubit and a half broad, and 1 cubit high, whereupon also they had laid the instruments wherein they slew the burnt offering and the sacrifice. And within were hooks and hand broad fastened round about, and upon the tables was the flesh of the offering. And without the inner court were the chambers of the singers in the inner court, which was at the side of the north gate, and their prospect was towards the south, one of the side of the east gate, having the prospect towards the north. 45. And he said unto me, this chamber whose prospect is towards the south is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the house, and the chambers whose prospect is towards the north is for the priests, the keepers of the charge of the altar. There are the sons of Zadok among the sons of Levi, which come near to Yahuwah to minister unto him. 47. So he measured the court, and 100 cubits long and 100 cubits broad, 4 square, and the altar that was before the house. And he brought me to the porch of the house, and measured east post of the porch 5 cubits on this side, and 5 cubits on that side, and the breadth of the gate was 3 cubits on this side, and 3 cubits on that side. The length of the porch was 20 cubits, and the breadth 11 cubits. And he brought me by the steps whereby they went up to it, and there were pillars by the posts, one of this side and another on that side, brothers and sisters. So you have a visual description and measurement of an image of the temple in heaven. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's look at some more scriptures, right? Matthew 18:18 is on the screen. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Same thing. Why? Just like how I described just now, how the heavenly temple mirrors the earthly temple on earth. So the same measurement you see that he checks here described, the same measurement with the temple on earth, Solomon temple, right? Same measurements, right? As a replica of what in heaven is on earth, right? Okay, brothers and sisters, take a look at the screen. Ephraim, Hebrews 9:24-28, we're precepting his Kadesh temple, right? We're going to go through the scriptures so you can see and give you a visualization of the Kadesh temple. What is in heaven is on earth. What is bound in heaven is bound on earth. What is loose in heaven shall be loose on earth. So let's take it from Ephraim, Hebrews 9:24-28. For Mashiach is not entered into the Kadesh place made with hands. For Mashiach is not entered into the Kadesh place made with hands, which are the figures of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of Eliyahu for us. So what that is saying? It is saying that Yahusha is the mediator between man and his Father. You understand? Yahusha is the only mediator between us and his Father. No one can come to the Father except through the Son, Yahushua Mashiach. Nor yet that he should offer himself often as the high priest. What that means. Nor yet that he should offer himself often mean multiple times. He's not going to offer himself multiple times because he did it once. Once is sufficient. Once is suffice enough. Once is permanent for all generation to come thereof. Right? That is why the scripture said that's a more perfect sacrifice made once for all. For any Israel first, and for those who cling unto any Israel and believing in Yahuwah, in Yahusha's name, and keeping these laws, commandments, and statutes. Verse 26, for then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world, but now once the end of the world had he appeared to put away sins by sacrifice of himself. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. So Mashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation, brothers and sisters. Right? So just like how man is appointed to die once, the Mashiach is not going to die over and over and over. Does not make sense. You understand? Once we as men, children of men, that include women, because again, Yahuwah created Adama first. Yahuwah created Adama first. Yahuwah created Adama first, then Hawa from out of the side of the man. Hence, we should walk side by side. Huh? The irony? Huh? Work together? Loving each other? Ye so-called black men and so-called black women, whither we are scattered, descendants of Hebrews and Hebrew slaves. The irony, right? Okay, Ibrahim 7:20-25 is on the screen, brothers and sisters. Ibrahim, Hebrews 7:20-25. And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest, for those priests were made without an oath. But this with an oath by him that said unto him, Yahuwah swear, I will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. By so much was Yahusha made a surety of a better testament, and they truly were made priests, because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continued ever, had an unchangeable priesthood, wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come into Eliyahu by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. So you see that again, wherefore in verse 25, wherefore he said able also to save, wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that cometh unto Eliyahu. So who is Eliyahu? His father, by him. So who is by him? Yahusha Mashiach. Seeing he ever liveth to make it intercession forever. So he's ever faithful, ever living, ever sure, cannot die. He lay his life down by his own will and raised it up by his own will. For he is Eliyahu, he created life. He is life himself. Yahuwah Tizabahot. Hebrews 8:3-6, all on the screen, brothers and sisters. Ibrahim 8:3-6. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifice, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. You see the example that the Messiah set forth before he sent forth his son. That shows you that everything our forefathers and mothers did as far as the physical law, the bullocks, the he-goat, right, is a precursor for the Mashiach to come to fulfill that physical law, right? Because he represent or put in place as the permanent and more perfect sacrifice once and for all, because he noticed every year we got to keep making sacrifice yearly. But now we don't have to do that because the Mashiach is here. Mashiach came, he manifested himself and went back to his father. So now we have the spiritual law now. You understand, that he write upon our hearts and in our minds and in our souls. Right? Again, for every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifice. Therefore, it is of necessity that this man have someone also to offer. So what this man offered, Yahusha, he offered himself, his life. You understand? For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. Just like I explained, the yearly sacrifice, that's according to the law. And who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moshe was admonished of Eliyahu when he was about to make a tabernacle. For see, said he, that thou makest all things according to the pattern shown to thee in the mount. Right? But now hath he ordained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises, brothers and sisters. Yahusha is the perfect and permanent sacrifice, made without hand. but he himself is the hand that created all things. Huh? Ephraim 9:7-15, Hebrews 9:7-15 is on the screen, brother and sister. But into the second went the high priest. So we talk about the holies of holies, right? But into the second went the high priest alone once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the errors of the people. The Ruach HaKadesh, they signify that the way into the holies of all was not yet made manifest, right? So in actuality, our Hebrew priests, the Israelite priests, were a representation of the Mashiach. Because you see right there in verse 8, he said, the Ruach HaKadosh, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest. While as the first tabernacle was yet standing, so the first tabernacle was, Shalomi's temple. Well, not Shalomi's temple, but Moshe tabernacle. That was the first tabernacle, the Moshe tabernacle. You see, brothers and sisters, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that day the service perfect, as pertaining to the consciousness, to the conscience, right? Verse 10, which stood only in meat and drink and divers washing and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation, right? But Mashiach being come and high priest of good things to come by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building. Verse 12, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctify to the purifying of the flesh. Verse 14, how much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to Eliyahu, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Eliyahu? And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgression that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance, brothers and sisters. So again, as you can see throughout the numerous scriptures and texts, Yahusha is the mediator, not Mary. So this is why I say these Catholic church and these Orthodox church and these Protestant church and those who have the people praying prior to Mary is utterly wrong and sinful, brothers and sisters. This is why the scripture said, come out of her, my people, because they are leading you astray and taking away the glory from Yah in his holy son Yahusha's name, taking the glory from Yahusha, who you should pray to, that he may reconcile you to the Father. The way to go about doing that is pray to the Father through the holy son Yahusha Mashiach, that he may reconcile you back to the Father, because praying to angels can't do nothing for you, because angels are messengers. They have to take orders from the Most High Yah to come and save you. They're not going to come and save you because you pray to them. It doesn't work like that. That's not the order. Just like on your job, right? When you want something done, right, you go to the chain of command, right? The chain of command in heaven starts with you pray to the Father through his holy son Yahusha, who is the mediator between man and Eliyahu. And once you pray to Yahusha, you should go and bring your prayers to the Father, and he will send out a directive to the angels to come and do this, come and do that on your behalf. You see, an example of that to show you when John was in that vision and the Most High sent for the angel unto John. When John saw the angel, what did John did? The first action John did, what John did, brothers and sisters, he went and bowed down before the angel. And what the angel did, the angel admonished him and said, no, do not kneel before me, because what? I'm a fellow servant. So the angel is telling John, I'm a servant just as you. Why the angel say he's a servant? Because he served the true and living Eliyahu, just like John served the true and living Eliyahu. So both are servants of the Most High Yah. Do you understand, brothers and sisters? Alright, let's move on. Okay, Matthew 16, we're going to start from 10 to 18. Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not be aware of the leaven of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Yahusha came into the coasts of the Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, some say that thou art Joachim the Baptist, some Elias, and other Jeremias, or one of the prophets. He said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simeon Kepha, Peter, answered and said, Thou art the Mashiach, the son of the living Eliyahu. And Yahusha answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simeon, Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. So you see, the Ruach HaKodesh is working in Simon Bar-Jonah. And then the Ruach HaKodesh revealed to Simon who Yahusha really is. He is the son of Eliyahu himself, brothers and sisters. Okay, Tehillim, Psalms 18:1-6 on the screen. Tehillim, Psalms 18:1-6. I will love thee, O Yahuwah, my strength. Yahuwah is my rock and my fortress, my deliverer, my Eliyahu, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, my high tower. I will call upon Yahuwah who is worthy to be praised. I will call upon Yahuwah who is worthy to be praised. I will call upon Yahuwah who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of the ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahuwah, and cried unto my Eliyahu, and he heard my voice out of his what? Temple. And my cry came before him even to his ears, brothers and sisters. So you can look at out of his temple dualship. Temple in heaven, which is a spiritual temple, and the temple on earth, which is your body, the living temple. That when you cry out, he heard you from out of his temple. Why it is his temple? Because he created it. You did not create this temple, this body. The Most High created it without hands. Let that marinate in the membrane. Brothers and sisters? Okay. Melachem Rishan. 1 Kings 8:46-52. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captive unto the land of the enemy, far or near. Yet if they shall think themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, We have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul, in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee towards their land, which thou givest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name. 49. Then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive the people they have sinned against thee, and all their transgression wherein they have transgressed against thee, and give them compassion before them who carry them captive, that they may have compassion on them. For they be the people and thy inheritance which thou broughtest forth out of Mizraim, from the midst of the furnace of iron. that thine eyes may be open unto the supplication of thy servant and unto the supplication of thy people, Yashrael, to hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee, brothers and sisters. Right? Jeremiah 26 and 2 is on the screen. Thus said Yahuwah, stand in the court of Yahuwah's house and speak unto all the seed of Yahuwah which come to worship in Yahuwah's house. All the words that I command thee to speak unto them, diminish not a word, brothers and sisters. So go and tell to the people that thus saith Yahuwah, turn from your wicked ways, seek him while he is yet available. Because the time will come that the Most High will not be available for you to seek him. Only the commandments that he written upon the hearts of the believers shall sustain and shall keep them. Isaiah 6. Isaiah 6. Right? In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also Yahuwah sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the what? Temple. So again, we go back to this spiritual temple in heaven. What is in heaven? What's loose in heaven shall be loose in earth. What is bind in heaven shall be bind on earth. In the year that King Uzziah died, and saw also Yahuwah sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twine he covered his face at 2. Twine is 2. And with 2 he covered his feet. And with 2 twine he did fly. So, you know, he got 6 wings. Right there. And one cried unto another and said, Kadesh, Kadesh, holy, holy, holy is Yahuwah of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the Melchem, the king, Yahuwah of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongues from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of Yahuwah saying, Whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Verse 10, Make the heart of these people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understood with their hearts, and convert, and be healed. Then said I, Yahuwah, how long? And he answered, Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And Yahuwah have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a tell tree, and as an oak whose substance is in them, when they cast their leaves. So the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. Melchem Rishon, 1 King, Melchem Rishon, 1 Kings 22 and 19. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of the heaven standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. Describing again spiritual temple. Shemot, Exodus, Shemot 24, brothers and sisters. Right? Shemot, Exodus 24. And he said unto Moshe, Come up unto Yahuwah, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Yashareel, and worship ye worship ye afar off. Moshe alone shall come near Yahuwah, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with. And Moshe came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgment, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah had said, we do. And Moshe wrote the words of Yahuwah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Yashareel. Verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Yashareel, which offered burnt offering and sacrificed peace offering of oxen unto Yahuwah. And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Verse 7, and he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah had said will we do and be obedient. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah had made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moshe and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Yashareel, and they saw the Eliyahu of Yashareel, and there was under his feet as it were paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in its clearness. And they saw the Eliyahu of Yashareel, and there was under his feet, brothers and sisters, as it were a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in its clearness. So take a look at the screen, you'll see a sapphire stone, brothers and sisters, Okay, brothers and sisters, Bereshit, Genesis Bereshit 28:10-14. And Yaakov went out from Beersheba and went towards Haran, and he lighted up a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took off the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamt, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angel of Eliyahu was ascending and descending on it. So again, visualization of the what? The heavenly temple, spiritual heavenly temple. And behold, Yahuwah stood above it and said, I am Yahuwah, Eliyahu of Abraham, thy father, and Eliyahu of Isaac, and the land whereof thou layest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all families of the earth be blessed. So you see that? 2 times the Most High said, in Abraham thy seed shall be blessed, and Yaakov thy seed shall be blessed. 2 patriarchs, 2 father, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Okay, brother, so Davrahim. So on your screen, Davrahim 1. We're going to take it all the way to 10. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Yashareel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, a people great and tall, a people great and tall. So what the Most High is describing right here, they are giants, great and tall. The giants, brothers and sisters. We so-called black people, our forefathers, are giant slayers, right? Yes, we took on giants, we slayed giants, brothers and sisters. A people great and tall, a people great and tall, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims. The Anakims. Children of Anakims. Do you research on those people? Anakims. Whom thou knowest and whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? You can do research. That's your research to go and do. Research those people. The Anakims or the Anak. Short. Understand therefore this day that Yahuwah Eliyahu is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahuwah had said unto thee. Verse 4, Speak not thou in thine heart after that Yahuwah Eliyahu had cast them out from before thee, saying, For my righteousness Yahuwah had brought me in to possess this land, but for wickedness of these nations Yahuwah doth drive them out from before thee. Let me go over this for you understand. Verse 4, Speak not thou in thine heart after that Yahuwah Eliyahu had cast them out from before thee, saying, For my righteousness Yahuwah had brought me in to possess this land, but for the wickedness of these nations Yahuwah drive them out from before thee. So this is what the Mashiach said. Don't think in your heart because of your righteousness why I'm doing this. So Mashiach he's gonna explain this in verse 5. He said, Not for thy righteousness, stiff-necked Israel, not for thy righteousness, or for thy uprightness of thine heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations Yahuwah thy Eliyahu doth drive them out before thee. So it's not because of your righteousness or your uprightness in all, because of the wickedness of these people, why the Most High going to wipe them out. Right? Not for thy righteousness or for the uprightness of thine heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations Yahuwah thy Eliyahu doeth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which Yahuwah swore unto thy father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So he's doing this for one, what? To preserve his word. He stand 10 toes down on his covenant and his promise he made to our forefathers, and therefore that promise, covenant, extending to his descendants, which is us today, who were taken into chattel slave because of the very disobedience that caused us and the Most High to be angry with us and to scatter his seed and give up his strength and inheritance into the hands of the wicked for a time and a period of time. Verse 6, Understand therefore that Yahuwah thy Eliyahu giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness. So you see again the Most High repeat that over and over. He repeat that in verse 5, not for thy righteousness, nor uprightness of thy heart. And he come again and said, Understand therefore that Yahuwah thy Eliyahu giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. So he admonished them. He let them know straightforward, I'm not doing it because of your righteousness and your uprightness, or because you're stiff-necked people. You continually sin and you continually rebel against me. But because of the promise I made with your forefather, my mercy shall be extended unto thee. Had not the Most High chose us as his people, had not the Most High made a promise to our forefathers, we would have been destroyed long time ago. So I want you to understand that, let that fully resonate in your heart and your stiff-necked minds, man. You see, hence what the scripture said, the Most High is a respecter of what? None. Verse 7, Remember and forget not how thou provokest, and the Most High bring you back again, brothers and sisters, to remembrance of your stiff-necked and wicked ways. He said in verse 7, Remember and forget not. Remember and forget not. Remember and forget not how thou provokest Yahuwah thy Eliyahu to wrath in the wilderness from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Mizraim. You remember, O house of Yisrael, scattered to the four corners of the earth. Do you remember these things? Remember and forget not how thou provokest Yahuwah thy Eliyahu to wrath in the wilderness from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Mizraim until he came unto this place. He have been rebellious against Yahuwah. Also in Horeb he provoked Yahuwah to wrath, so that Yahuwah was angry with you to have you destroyed. So the Most High bring you back to memory to show he not doing it because of your uprightness and your righteousness, because he knows you are stiff-necked, and he remind you of the things that you have done to show you your wicked ways, also your stiff-neckedness. But what saved us again is because of the covenant he made with our forefathers. And Yahuwah cannot lie. How excellent is Yahuwah. We serve an awesome Eliyahu in Yahusha. Huh? Verse 9. When I was gone up into the mount and to receive the table of stone, even the tables of the covenant which Yahuwah made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. And this 40 and 40 night is a mirror of the Mashiach, stay in the wilderness 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. The same with Yahusha. And Hashatan came to the temple and trying to tell him, said, oh look man, turn this stone into bread and drink and eat. Verse 10. And Yahuwah delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of Eliyahu, and on them was written according to all the words which Yahuwah spake with you in the mount of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, brothers and sisters. So what is the significance of the temple, brothers and sisters? Now that we went through the precept of his holy temple and the comparison of both the heavenly temple and the earthly temple, one is the same. So what is the significance of a temple in heaven, brothers and sisters? This clearly seen in one of the principal rules from the Hebrew Bible that is translated with the English word sanctuary and temple, the word Kadesh, Kadesh, which was the basic meaning of the separation or withdrawal of sacred entities from profane things in its different verbal form. Kadesh denounce something that is holy or withheld from profane use, the idea of showing or proving oneself holy, the placing of a thing or person into the states of holiness, and the dedication or sanctification of a person or thing, making it sacred. A normal derivation of Kadesh is the masculine singular noun Kodesh. This labyrinthine term has reference to many aspects of the sacred, all of which can be directly connected to its roots, meaning the separation of the sacred from the profane, and second biblical noun derived from Kadesh is Mikdash. Commonly translated in English as sanctuary or temple, the word is found 73 times in the Hebrew Bible. The biblical scriptures leave no question that Eliyahu requires his earthly dwelling places to possess a high degree of holiness, to be consecrated and set apart from the profanities of the world. If the earthly temple is holy, the heavenly temple serves as the very definition of holiness, since Eliyahu will not dwell in an unholy place. One central purpose of a heavenly temple would be to serve as a holy place in which Eliyahu and the saints will dwell forever, brothers and sisters. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to close it out with Shemuel Rishon 3, right? And the child Shemuel ministered unto Yahuwah before Eli, and the word of Yahuwah was precious in those days. There was an open vision. There was no open vision. And it came to pass that at that time when Eli was laid down in his place and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see, and ere the lamp of Eliyahu went out in the temple of Yahuwah. So again, in this format, brothers, we're dealing with what? The physical temple. Right? The physical temple. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And ere the lamp of Eliyahu went out in the temple of Yahuwah, where the ark of Eliyahu was, and Shemuel was laid down to sleep, that Yahuwah called Shemuel, and he answered, Here am I. And he ran unto Eli and said, Here am I, while thou callest, but thou callest me. And he said, I call not, lie down again. And he went and lay down, and Yahuwah called yet again, Shemuel, Shemuel. And Yahuwah called yet again Shemuel, and Shemuel arose and went to Eli I said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And he answered, I call not, my son, lie down again. Now Shemuel did not yet know Yahuwah, neither was the word of Yahuwah yet revealed unto him. Verse 8. Yahuwah called Shemuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for thou didst call me. And Eli perceived that Yahuwah had called the child. Therefore Eli said unto Shemuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be, if ye call thee, that thou shalt say, Speak, Yahuwah, for thy servant heareth. So Shemuel went and lay down in his place. And Yahuwah came and stood and called as at other times, Shemuel, Shemuel. Then Shemuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And Yahuwah said, Shemuel, behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. Verse 12. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. 14. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. And Shemuel lay until the morning, and opened the doors of the house of Yahuwah. So you know it's a physical temple, the temple of Solomon, physical temple versus spiritual temple, 16. Then Eli called Shemuel and said, Shemuel, my son. And he answered, Here am I. And he said, What is the thing that Yahuwah had said unto thee? I pray thee, hide it not from me. Yahweh do so to thee, and more also, if thou hide anything from me of all the things that he said unto thee. And Shemuel told him every whit, and hide nothing from him. And he said, It is Yahuwah, let him do what seemeth him good. Shemuel grew, and Yahuwah was with him, and did not none of his words fall to the ground, brothers and sisters. And all of Yashrael from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Shemuel was established to be a prophet of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah appeared again in Shiloh, for Yahuwah revealed himself to Shemuel in Shiloh by the word of Yahuwah, brothers and sisters, right? So I'm going to end the Shabbat lesson here, brothers and sisters, right? I hope you understand fully of the physical and the spiritual temple. Yes, I hope you understand, brothers and sisters, about the physical and the spiritual temple of the Most High. So yes, brothers and sisters, you know, the Shabbat lesson is a long one. I haven't done a long one in a while, right? So, you know, we went deep into this physical and spiritual temple, and I hope you learned something, and I hope it encourage you to continue to do your research and to grow in righteousness and spirituality. We went through all the breakdowns, piece by piece, line upon line, concerning the scriptures and the temple, and how you can compare the both. You understand, brothers and sisters? Because in this time we got to get close to the Most High, be intimate with him. And how you gonna get intimate with him is through the Ruach Kadesh, brothers and sisters. You understand? Turn from your wicked ways, seek the Most High truly. I encourage you, brothers and sisters, within Israel, turn from your wicked ways, brothers and sisters. Change your mindset, change your outlook in life. You understand? The only recourse we have is prayer and faith and hope in the Mashiach, that he may deliver us out of all our fears. But we must first, we got to put in the work, because faith without work is dead. You understand? Anything you do, you have to have faith. Even the wicked, when the wicked doing the wicked deeds, they have faith that their wicked deeds might prosper, right? So you must have faith that that your goodness may conquer the wicked, and good shall conquer evil every single time, brothers and sisters. So at that now, broke your heart, broke your Mashiach. Shana, Vishna, blessed love and shalom.